So Sarah, let's hear about your background and how you became interested in this.
Yeah, so I have been a musician all my life. I went to undergraduate school, classically trained hornist and vocalist, and music has deeply impacted me. It's helped me process a lot, helped me understand myself and really the world around me. Been engaged in music since I was in like the second grade, so almost all of my life. And once I got to college and I started getting an understanding of what music therapy is, and I kind of fell in love with it just because music deeply impacted me, and I felt connected to it in a way, and I wanted to share that connection with others. So that's kind of why I got into music therapy. I got my master's in it just a little bit over a year ago.
So how did you two find each other for the purposes of this study?
So yeah, I've worked with Dr. Tomeno for years as a on the industry side, collaborating with on weekly calls, trying to think about musical emotion and how it's realized in terms of acoustics. Um, and I needed a partner, and to really have who has deep insight and intuition around the personal side of this, right? Like how music actually affects people and accessing that on a personal side, and talking in the moment about trying to understand a person and their connection to music. And so, Connie right away was like, "Oh, I have the perfect person for you," and I was absolutely thrilled to find Sarah, because I think that's such an important element, and it's something that I, as a scientist, don't naturally have. I have a lot of what I'd like to think I have a lot of insight into music and how it affects us, but I don't interface with people and people who are suffering, and so we're really thrilled to have Sarah as a partner.
So tell us about the actual study. What's the methodology and the design of the study? Because I know you're looking at youth and why this particular group.
Yeah, so there's I think if you look at kind of the mental health space, the young people are among those who are suffering the most. I think there's that's where we've seen the steepest climbs in anxiety and depression, and it's been happening since the early 2000s. COVID made it worse, but it's still bad, and it's still trending in a direction that has negative implications for our future. Um, and then there's the other side of this, which is young people tend to be those who are most engaged with music. So, during our teenage and early adult years, that music that we listen to, not only are we listening for like 3-4 hours a day on average, but your tastes almost kind of crystallize around that phase. So there's something very deep that's going on there, and so this is an alignment. It's like, well, um, this population is suffering the most. This population is the most engaged with music. They also tend to avoid traditional therapies, psychotherapies, drug therapies. They tend to not seek them out or not adhere to them. And so there's a real opportunity to improve care through a more engaging, more suitable form of intervention, which music checks all those boxes.
So, and what will you measure specifically?
So we're looking at the effects of a digital intervention that's listening based, and like Sarah said, it's really centered around personal music. What is the music that people like? Because we know that's the music that's going to kind of penetrate into their deep neurobiology that's involved in anxiety and depression, and that's going to be the most stimulating thing. And we have various techniques for trying to take people's preferred music and arrange it and in ways that um, are emotionally intentional, and teach them a little bit about where these effects on themselves are coming from and how they can modulate them. Um, and it's a kind of pilot intervention trial. So there is a crossover trial. So there's one group that receives this and one group that does not, and then after a period of time they cross over. And we're looking at depression outcomes and anxiety outcomes. So just very simple ones, just self-report. on surveys. And we will also have a clinical interview before and after to try to understand, at a greater level of detail. But the idea is to get the ball rolling here, to demonstrate that we can engage people with an intervention like this, that they will use it, and that it's relevant to their mental health.
Fantastic. And think about, or speak briefly about what you could envision for the future in terms of utilizing, say, very positive results from the study.
Going back to a little bit about what Dan was saying, is that during development, the teenage years and early adolescence, late adolescence are very impactful, and music choice and identity is found in those years. So if this tool does seem to have positive results, I see it being used by music therapists who are working with individuals of this age group who are stressed from college, who have depressive symptoms because of the changes that are happening in their lives. And I feel it can be used as a tool to help the therapist or the individual who's working with them, whether that be a researcher, really understand who they are and build off of that for their personal growth. It can be used as a tool of reflection. It can be used to build understanding and awareness of kind of what's going on in their lives. And that is my hope, is that I am part of this research to bring awareness to the mental health concern that these individuals are facing. And I feel like it can grow and become a tool that me and other music therapists use to assess, to understand, and to grow from.
So much, Sarah and Dan. I'm really looking forward to hearing the results of your study, and I have every confidence that it's going to be helpful for people.
Thank you, Renee.